Most people think retirement is the moment your money starts running out. But what if I told you the opposite is often true? For millions of retirees, something strange happens after they stop working. Their net worth keeps rising, their savings grow faster, their wealth accelerates, even though the paycheck is gone. It feels backwards, almost impossible, but the data is clear. Retirement is not always a financial cliff. For many people, it becomes the moment their money finally starts compounding without interruption. And today, you are going to understand exactly why this happens. Because once you see these 7 forces working together, retirement stops looking like a chapter of decline and starts looking like a chapter where your wealth quietly builds in the background. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss videos that help you build a calmer, more confident financial future. Now, let's get into reason 1, and this one surprises almost everyone. Reason 1, your spending drops far more than you expect. Most people enter retirement assuming their expenses will explode. They imagine non-stop travel, restaurant meals, endless activities, and rising medical costs. But when you look at the real numbers, something shocking appears. Spending goes down, not up. Across the country, retirees consistently spend far less than working households. The reason is simple. Life slows down. People travel less, eat out less, shop less, and naturally settle into routines that cost very little. Transportation is one of the biggest shifts. No commute, no office expenses, fewer cars, lower insurance, lower fuel costs, even entertainment changes. The concerts, flights, hotels, and big activities that sounded exciting in your 50s often feel exhausting in your 70s. Staying home becomes more enjoyable than going out, and the price tag reflects that shift. Healthcare does rise over time, but it almost never outweighs the dramatic drop in everything else. When you step back and look at the whole picture, retirement becomes naturally cheaper, without budgeting, without sacrificing, and without effort. And that single change sets the stage for your wealth to start growing instead of shrinking. Now let's move into reason 2, one of the biggest forces quietly supporting retirees every single month. Reason 2, Social Security covers most of what you actually need. Most people dramatically underestimate how powerful Social Security is. They picture it as a small check that barely makes a dent in their bills. But for millions of retirees, especially couples, Social Security becomes the engine that covers most of their lifestyle. Think of it this way: a typical retiree couple receives close to $48,000 per year in guaranteed, inflation-adjusted income. That means their monthly benefit grows over time, helping them keep up with rising prices without touching a penny of their investments. Now here is where the shock happens. If a couple spends around $65,000 a year, which is normal for early retirement, Social Security may cover most of it. Their actual gap might be $17,000, not $65,000. And as they age, spending naturally drops into the low $50,000 range. When that happens, the gap shrinks even further, sometimes to $10,000, $8,000, or even $5,000 per year. That tiny withdrawal need is one of the biggest reasons retirees often get richer instead of poorer. They simply do not need as much from their portfolio as they once feared. Guaranteed income keeps flowing in, spending keeps drifting down. The gap between the two keeps shrinking. And that quiet math becomes one of the strongest wealth-building forces in retirement. Now let's go to reason 3. And this is where everything truly flips. Reason 3. You withdraw less than the famous 4% rule. The 4% rule has scared people for decades. They imagine withdrawing 4% of their savings each year and watching their accounts slowly drain away. But here is the twist almost no one talks about. Most retirees never even come close to withdrawing 4%. This happens because of something researchers call the consumption gap, the difference between what retirees could safely spend and what they actually spend. Retirees enter retirement cautious. They worry about running out of money. They spend carefully. They make small adjustments during market downturns. They skip the big trip when times feel uncertain. And without realizing it, they often end up withdrawing 2%, sometimes even less. Now, combine that with Social Security covering most expenses. Suddenly, the dangerous 4% withdrawal rule becomes irrelevant because retirees are not touching enough of their portfolio to make a dent in it. Here is what this means. A retiree might only need $10,000 or $15,000 a year from their savings. But if their portfolio is growing by $40,000 or $50,000 in a typical year, the math becomes shocking. They withdraw a little, and their net worth still rises. This is the turning point where retirement wealth quietly accelerates. Now let's move to reason 4, the force that makes everything multiply faster than you expect. Reason 4. Your investments continue compounding powerfully. Once you stop working, something remarkable happens. Your investments begin compounding without interruption. Think about the typical working years. You earn money, you spend money, and very little stays invested long enough to grow meaningfully. Constant expenses pull your savings backward. But after retirement, the opposite happens. You withdraw only small amounts, often far less than you expected, and the bulk of your portfolio remains untouched. That untouched money becomes a compounding machine. Here is the surprising part. A portfolio of $1 million growing at 7% earns about $70,000 in a typical year. If the retiree only needs $10,000 or $20,000 to cover the gap between Social Security and lifestyle expenses, the portfolio still grows by $50,000 or more. Their net worth rises while they are sitting on the porch drinking coffee. This is why so many retirees end up wealthier 10 years after retiring than on the day they left their job. It is not luck. It is the math of compounding finally being allowed to run uninterrupted. When withdrawals are small and growth is steady, wealth accelerates quietly. Reason 5. Your home quietly builds wealth every year. For many retirees, their home becomes one of the most powerful wealth-building tools they own, and they barely notice it happening. After decades of mortgage payments, most retirees enter retirement with their home fully paid off. No rent, no mortgage, no landlord, just a major asset sitting there increasing in value year after year. Historically, home values rise about 3 to 5% annually. That means a retiree with a $300,000 home might see an automatic gain of $9,000 to $15,000 each year, without lifting a finger. And unlike a stock portfolio, that appreciation comes with no emotional stress. They do not check home prices daily. They do not worry about market swings. The house simply grows in value quietly, in the background. On top of that, housing costs are dramatically lower once the mortgage is gone. This frees up cash flow, reduces financial pressure, and allows retirees to withdraw even less from their investments. And if they eventually choose to downsize, they unlock a large chunk of their home equity, often creating a 6-figure boost to their net worth late in life. Your home becomes your silent partner in wealth, compounding quietly while you enjoy the life you built inside it. Reason 6. Retirement pushes you into a lower tax world. One of the biggest surprises retirees experience is how dramatically their taxes drop once they stop working. And lower taxes mean more of your money stays invested, which accelerates growth even further. Here is why this happens. When you leave your job, your earned income disappears, and with lower income comes lower tax brackets. Social Security is often partially tax-free. Withdrawals from investments can be timed strategically. Suddenly, retirees are paying far less in taxes than they ever did during their working years. This creates a powerful effect. More money stays in the portfolio, less money is needed to cover living costs. Compounding happens on a larger base, and the smaller the withdrawals, the faster the portfolio can grow. Retirement is one of the few stages in life where you have control over how much taxable income you take each year. That flexibility is worth tens of thousands of dollars over time, and it is a quiet reason many retirees become wealthier as the years go on. Before we move into the final reason, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss upcoming videos that help you build a calmer, more confident relationship with money. Now, let's get into reason 7, a behavior that real retirees practice naturally, and it protects their wealth more than any financial model ever predicts. Reason 7. Retirees naturally adjust spending during bad markets. Financial models assume retirees withdraw the same amount every year, no matter what happens in the world. But real life does not work that way, and this is one of the biggest reasons retirees often grow wealth instead of losing it. When the market drops, retirees instinctively pause. They delay a renovation, they skip an expensive trip, they hold off on replacing the car, they choose simpler options without feeling deprived. These natural adjustments, small, flexible, intuitive, protect their portfolio during downturns far more effectively than any rigid withdrawal strategy. And here is the key. When the market recovers, they resume spending normally. This flexibility creates a built-in safety net that financial simulations cannot capture. Instead of forcing withdrawals during bad years, retirees simply live a little lighter, not because they must, but because it feels natural. This habit alone can stretch a retirement portfolio by decades and dramatically increase the odds of wealth growing, not shrinking. Flexibility is the hidden superpower of real-world retirement. Retirement is not the moment your money stops working. It is the moment your money finally gets to work without interruption. So instead of imagining retirement as a financial decline, start picturing it as a phase where your wealth can grow with surprising speed. Not because you are doing anything extreme, but because the structure of retirement naturally supports it. If this helped shift your perspective, make sure to subscribe so you never miss videos that help you build a calmer, smarter, more confident financial life. And if you want to understand how retirement spending really works, and why most people spend far less than they expect, watch the video on your screen now. It will give you the clarity most retirement planners never talk about.